Hello everybody, I'm back once again, and today I'm going to be covering Pokemon Expert Emerald. That is to say, I'm going to be doing a full playthrough of it, as opposed to just reviewing it, because I feel this is the best way to cover Gen 3, instead of just giving it a brief review and talking about how it rebooted the series and the elements that were added or taken away. Why not just show you it, in its entirety? And on top of that, I'm playing Expert Emerald, a ROM hack which allows me to catch every single Pokemon. And I'm going to be doing exactly that. This is a 100% run. Now, to address the elephant in the room, I have already kind of done this LP. I've already powered through quite a lot of it. But my hard drive kind of died and took the LP with it. So, you know what? Let's just start this all from scratch. Let's do this again. This time catching all 386 Pokemon. Let's do this. Let's set my options. And let's get into the swing of things. So first thing that happens, as with most Pokemon games, we're introduced to our Professor. Professor Birch in this game. Most of the Pokemon professors in the Pokemon series are actually named after trees. It's a strange trend that seems to persist throughout the series. For example, you had Professor Oak and Professor Elm. Here you have Birch, and in later games you get Rowan, Juniper. Well, technically that's a bush, but you know, plant life. And I'm not sure about Kukui. Professor Kukui from Sun and Moon. I don't know if that is a tree, a bush, or anything really. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, after introducing ourselves, we pick our character. Just like I did with the previous incarnation of this LP, I'm going to be a girl, and I'm going to be named Darla. The reason for that is I have a weird trend of my own. When I play through Pokemon games, I always like to give my protagonist names beginning with D, kind of like myself or my two siblings, Dylan and Daniel, so yeah. In Pokemon Sun and Moon, I actually play as a girl named Dominique because the girl characters in Sun and Moon, they get way more fashion options. The boys aren't quite as customizable for some reason. Anyways, here we go, out of the moving truck and into our new adventure. When you play the Gen 6 remakes of Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you get a whole new introduction where you get to really see your truck riding around this whole new world. It's kind of incredible how improved it is and how bare bones this feels in comparison, but still good, still holds up. Anyways, moving into our house, we have some movers. They are Vigoroth, some very active sloth Pokemon, vigorous sloths if you will. In Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, those are actually Machoke. So, I like that this incarnation of the game, the definitive Gen 3 game, starts with its best foot forward. It shows you some new Pokemon off the bat. Anyways, what I'm doing here is I am setting the time. Introduced in Generation 2, Pokemon does have a time mechanic, it does go in real time. However, and this is one of the biggest detriments of Gen 3, there's no more day and night cycle. Like, it's day all the time, regardless of what time of day it is. So, yeah, and you don't get nocturnal and diurnal Pokemon either. Like, everything is available all the time, which I guess you could throw that out there as being quite convenient, but I don't know, it was more immersive, it was more cool having the game reflect real life in that respect. So, yeah, that gets reintroduced in Gen 4 in Diamond, Pearl and Platinum. So here's a cool thing as well. Generation 3 is the first Pokemon game where you are a member of a nuclear family. Usually you just have a single parent. But in this game, you have a mother who stays in this introductory town, and you also have a father who is a gym leader. And I'm going the complete wrong way. Let me fix that. I need to go next door. So, yeah, you have a dad. He's your gym leader, and he is actually really tough in both the base game and this hard mode ROM hack. So, beating him really does feel like something of a milestone. It is a great, great feeling. And I kind of glazed over that. This is a hard mode ROM hack. It's not to be taken lightly. Yes, it gives you access to all the Pokemon, so you're going to have to do a lot of grinding to get them all anyway. But even with the grinding in mind, and trust me, a lot of it will be off screen, I'm not going to torture you guys, but this is a really, really bloody hard game, so do expect me to have a few stumbling blocks every now and then. It may just happen. So here we have our rival. He's a bit of a jerk. His name is Brendan. If you play as a male character, you actually live in this house, and your rival is a girl named May, who lives next door. It's a cool way of them being able to use sprites for both the male and female characters in any given playthrough, so their sprites don't go to waste. Because that was kind of a shame with Gold and Silver. Or, sorry, with Crystal. Whichever gender you didn't pick, they just weren't in the game at all. Alrighty, so, Professor Birch, he's a bit of a plonker. He's being assaulted by a Zigzagoon. Or in Ruby and Sapphire, it was a Poochyena. And we need to deal with it, so here are the 3 starter Pokemon. A Grass, Fire, and a Water type to basically echo every other Pokemon game. Could go for Trico, could go for Mudkip, but I'm sorry guys. I really just have to go for Torchic. He's my dude. You can't go wrong with Torchic. He's a fiery chicken. A fiery chicken. It's adorable, and it grows up to be an uber Pokemon. A Pokemon that is so good, it ends up banned from tournaments. Like, that's how good it gets. Granted, this Torchic doesn't have the speed boost ability, which is its greatest asset, but you know what? Maybe I need to handicap myself a little bit. I don't want to be that overpowered. Okay, so down goes Zigzagoon, and in case you're wondering, yes, I am going to be calling that Torchic Colonel Sanders. Fiery chicken, you know. Makes sense, really. Okay, so after that little introductory battle, which you actually can't lose if you try and stall the game, or if you try to lose on purpose, the Zigzagoon just runs away, and you still get praised. But yeah, we get Torchic now. Colonel Sanders. Here we go. Shoutouts to KFC, I guess. With apologies to Peter. And vegetarians everywhere. And vegans. Anyone who just doesn't like chicken, really. Sorry to you guys. Okay, so, this is a but thou must situation. You can't really say no. He'll just repeat the conversation again until you say yes. But, yeah, not that big of a deal anyway. Let's go have our first trainer battle. So, heading up north, we move into Route 101. To really, what's the word? To separate itself from the Generation 1 and 2 games, they decided to give all of the routes 100 names. They decided to start from 100, so that no routes in this game would be confused with routes from previous Pokemon games. They kind of gave up on that later on, so there are multiple versions of Route 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. That's actually something unique about Hoenn, when you really think about it. So, a little bit confusing, we move straight to Route 103. That's because this is a side area. The real Route 102 is off to the west, and that's how we progress through the game later on. Now, this may be my first battle with a Pokemon, but I do have to run away because I don't want to get creamed by a water type as soon as I start the game. That was an unfortunate encounter. Okay, here is Brendan. He has a level 5 Mudkip, if I remember correctly. So, I can use Tackle a couple of times and throw out a potion when I get to low health, and I'll pretty much win this. That's why it's a good thing I took a potion out of my computer at the beginning of the game. And, oh, level 6. Alright, bit different. Not quite what I was expecting, but I guess we can handle this. I still do have that potion, and oh! Oh, that's how it's gonna be, eh? Hard mode ROM hack. You're just gonna straight up cheat out of the door. A super effective move, and a move that lowers my accuracy so I can't even fight back. That thing you just did, that wouldn't even be, like, legal in tournaments. You just blinded my Pokemon, and proceeded to murder it while you were blinding it. Okay, take two. Let's try that again. Screw you, Brendan. I've done a little bit of grinding off screen, just to show you what's what. So, prepare for my new and improved Colonel Sanders. Now double the level. And the real kicker is I still have a good chance of losing because of Mud Slap there. That is a really debilitating move. The reason I said it's not legal is because it lowers your accuracy. And if you lower an opponent's accuracy in Pokemon, you basically handicap them beyond all belief. You make it near impossible for them to actually fight back against you, which either forces them to switch out Pokemon, which I can't do right now, or use really, really weak moves with perfect accuracy to get by. Not cool, not remotely cool. Anyways, Brendan is down, thank God. That was a lot harder for an introductory battle than it should have been. Especially considering it was only level 6. But, yeah, let's head back to the Professor. Extensive history. He just threw Mud Slap on his Pokemon, and ergo made it overpowered. Not cool. Anyways, here's my Pokédex. This thing allows you to keep a document of all the Pokemon you catch. I will be completing the Pokédex, as you can gather. What I'm going to do in this LP is I'm not going to bother showing you every Pokédex entry. For any new Pokemon I catch in any given video, I'm going to leave their data either in the threads or in the description, so you'll have an opportunity to learn of the Pokemon I am catching, evolving, or just acquiring. So, heading off, moving on to Route 101. After we've had a little chat with our mum. Cheers, mum. Ta muchly. I love the weird fourth wall breakage there. Push the B button on your shoes to run fast with your shoes. What? Okay, what? Anyways, go get them. I guess I will. First of all, let's head into Route 101, and let's catch all the available Pokemon in this ROM hack. First of all, we have a Sentret. Pretty cute Pokemon, it's a normal type. It was the Generation 2 equivalent of Rattata, and I decided to name Sentret Fluffo. I've actually written down all the names here, so Fluffo the Sentret. See, I planned this LP ahead of time. I set a course, I name all of my cute Pokemon, and then we're good as gold. So the second Pokemon I catch is Pidge the Pidgey. Pidgey was the standard flying type introduced in Gen 1. It evolves twice into Pidgeot, and it's kind of awesome. Rattata, the Gen 1 trashy normal type you get on Route 1. I decided to name him Nibbles. Poochyena, the Generation 3 Dark type early route Pokemon. Immune to Psychics, which is cool. I decided to name it Fang. Here we have Ziggy! Ziggy the Zigzagoon, the Generation 3 Rattata. However, it does have a cool gimmick. It can pick up items as you play through the game. It's a really, really helpful ability. So that's all that's all the Route 101 Pokemon that I can catch so far. I'm actually out of Pokeballs. There is one more, but I will catch it before this video ends, don't you worry. No stone left unturned, no Pokemon left uncaught. That's how we roll here. That's how we do. Alrighty, so next step is to head to the west. Here we go, onto Route 102. our first mandatory trainer battle. A policy I'm going to have for this LP is that any trainer who isn't completely mandatory, who I don't have to fight, I'm going to basically just avoid them. I'm going to skip them. If I accidentally encounter them and I don't have to, I'm going to skip them. But this guy, it's worth showing off. He's our first trainer battle. In the original game, he would have just come at you with Zigzagoon. In this ROM hack, everything gets shuffled around. The trainers, the gym leaders, the wild Pokemon, everything is completely different. It's basically a whole new game that takes everything good about Gen 3 and compiles it into one big experience. And this kid is starting with a Sunkern, the weakest Pokemon, stat-wise. But to make up for that, he does have berries. Most trainers in this game also have healing items. You need to end their Pokemon quickly and definitively to stop them from constantly healing themselves, which does add a really, really irritating layer of challenge. And next Pokemon is Paras. Now, I could just one-shot Paras with Colonel Sanders here, since it's Bug and Grass, quadruply weak to fire moves, but what I'm actually doing is sending out a weak Pokemon, so it can take half the experience for this battle, and then swapping back into Colonel Sanders to deal the finishing blow. This is basically one of the most crucial strategies in Pokemon games, before Generation 5, where your experience got shared among the party. Because, yeah, you can't have your Pokemon stay weak. You gotta get them good. But when you've just caught them, more often than not, they're too weak to actually fight on their own. So you gotta do a little bit of swapsies to get by. Here I am just skipping wild encounters, no need for these. And here we have something that the ROM hack added. Here's a character we are supposed to meet later in the game, or slightly later in the game. They put him there so he can update our Pokédex. Now we can log all 386 Pokemon, since they are all available. Not just the Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald exclusives. We can catch a little bit of everything. Here we have some berries. They are pretty much just healing items. They can heal status effects, they can restore health, and they can automatically be used by Pokemon holding them, or regrown. Okay, here is yet another trainer, a youngster named Alan. I'm going to lay waste to his team with Colonel Sanders, as I often do. And off we go, let's continue on. Ooh, nicely dodged there. A little bit of Metal Gear Pokemon. A little bit of Metal Gear Darla. And here we are in Petalburg. This is actually where our dad is the gym leader of. I don't know how I could have butchered that sentence any harder. So, here he is. Dad. What up, Dad? I see you're still rocking that Widow's Peak, if that's what it is, I think. That weird bob of hair on the front there. I refuse to call that a fringe, I really don't know what that is. And here is Wally, our rival. Well, one of our rivals, aside from Brendan. In this game, he's a very frail and weak character, and you kind of feel bad for beating him, like, that's something that just kind of persists throughout this game. Anytime you beat him, you feel bad. I mean, in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they give him a bit of a boost. They do more with him. He starts off frail and weak and useless, and then later on, when you get near the end of the game, he's a bit more badass in both his demeanour and his battling potential. So, yeah, he's a lot more of a fleshed out character in the remake games. In fact, he even cameos in Sun and Moon as a bonus trainer, making himself something of a series staple. And here he is catching his first ever Pokemon. I have seen screenshots online of people getting to this battle here and finding that Routes is a shiny Pokemon, a very, very rare occurrence. It's like the chance of winning the lottery. And the real kicker is because this is Wally's battle. He catches the shiny, not you, so... Ouch. That must suck. Just knowing that this guy has earned a shiny, and you didn't. He stole your opportunity. That said, if I do get any shinies in this playthrough, I will be very, very happy. Again, very rare, very hard to find. Especially in this game, they're a lot easier to find in later Pokemon games. But, again, if I do find any shinies, goddamn, I will be a very happy bunny. So, there goes Wally, having caught his first Pokemon. Essentially, this was just a tutorial about how to catch Pokemon, which, you know, as if we need one, I've already caught more Pokemon than some people would catch in an entire playthrough. Like, some people could just solo this game, they go all the way through with just their starter, which is doable, just not very advisable. Doable, though. Okay, so, bye Dad. Now, usually this is where you head further west to continue on with the game. However, there are a whole bunch of Pokemon that I still need to catch. I didn't have any Pokeballs for them before, so... Having earned quite a bit of money off screen, I'm going to go buy myself those Pokeballs. That's 10 of them for 2,000 Pokédollars. And on top of that, you also get a Premier Ball. It's a little extra bonus, it just looks cool. Okay, so let's do this. Heading all the way back to Route 101, we can catch Slackoth, Sid the Slackoth. A cool Pokemon with really decent stats, but can only attack once every other turn. Moving on to Route 102, the next Pokemon I caught was a Poliwag. A cute water type with a spiral pattern on its belly. I named it Spiral. Next is Oddish, who I named Raffi, because he grows into a Rafflesia. Then we have Dododo, the Doduo. Kind of a dumb name on that one, I will concede. Here we have Hoppip, a grass and flying type Pokemon, really, really cute. I decided to name it Glide, with a Y. Last of all, moving on to Route 103, here we have Azurill, a baby Pokemon, more on those later. I called it Blue, because it's a cute little blue ball of cute. Next we have Amiga, the Lotad. If it were male, I would have called it Amigo. You'll find out why when it evolves. Here is C-Dot. I decided to name him Locke, as a reference to the Nuzlocke playthroughs that a lot of people do. Little Pokemon fandom in-joke there. Here is Hoot Hoot, a nocturnal Pokemon from Gen 2. I decided to name her Hooters because I'm very immature. Here's Beaky the Spearow, as caught by my Premier Ball. And here we have Ralts, who, I honestly can't remember what I called this one. I think Angel. I'm pretty sure I called this one Angel. Is it Angel? Maybe? I've completely forgotten your name, Ralts. I'm sorry. Anyways, there we are, we're all caught up. I'll see you in the next episode. Oh, or not. Of course we need to be interrupted by this guy first, I forgot. Or maybe I just have a good sense of hygiene. You jerk. Oh, I see how it is. Pfft, whatever, I don't even care.